Hello, this is Nicholas Preventer, and this is my individual video project for CYBR 332-52 computer security. My project is going to be covering the Lazarus group, which is a nation-state sponsored hacking group operating out of North Korea, at least believed to be operating out of North Korea. Disclaimer, this video is solely for the educational purpose, and I'm not liable for any damages that could be caused using these demonstrations. Um, so a brief summary of this presentation is like I said, we're going over the Lazarus group. This group is responsible for many high-profile attacks that have attacked the entire world, predominantly attacking the United States and South Korea. Um, these attacks have caused new standards to be created within the industry. At the very end of this presentation, I'm going to do a demonstration of a social engineering attack, which is a primary tool that the Lazarus group takes advantage of. They do a lot of phishing attacks. So, who or what is the Lazarus group? The Lazarus group is an advanced persistent threat, APT 38, that is most likely to be based in North Korea. It's not confirmed, but it's highly likely. They're known for launching large and devastating cyber attacks, um, such as the I Want to Cry ransomware that they spread throughout the entire world. Um, I think they primarily attacked healthcare industries. And Operation Troy, which is really the first attack that put them on the map, that made it seem like we got to watch out for these guys. Um, One thing that leads to their success is that they have a large variety of custom made tools that they made completely by themselves, so they're very hard to defend against. And they do exactly what they need them to do. So, major attacks. Um, they used Operation Troy, and it was really just a DDoS of the South Korean government. It was just to disrupt the nation, that particular nation, essentially. Um, the what this like their big one of their biggest attacks that really put them on the map is the Sony Pictures attack. It's where they attacked Sony Pictures and they ended up stealing and leaking uh, hundreds of unreleased films, scripts, and personal data from the company itself, company employees itself. Um, a large attack that they did was the Bangladesh bank hack. This is where they attempted to steal $1 billion. They weren't fully successful. They only got out with about $1.6 million worth of value. Still a huge loss. Um, but they weren't very good at funneling uh, the cash itself and transferring the cash itself. Then next was the I Want to Cry ransomware. This has affected hundreds of thousands of computers across 150 countries, most of the world. And it devastated a lot of the healthcare industry and other industries like it. They did supply chain attacks and they just exploited legitimate software that was used to infect major systems. Um, and their most recent attack is a Bybit attack. And this was a theft of $1.6 billion worth of Ethereum cryptocurrency. Um, and it was truly a massive improvement on their Bangladesh bank hack. The biggest, like the primary difference between these two attacks is that the Bybit attack just had much better cache funneling. They funneled the cache much faster, much quicker, and much larger amounts than they did the Bangladesh bank hack. So these are methods used by the Lazarus group. They make use of deception all the time. This is the use of social engineering to gain access to a network. Um, the most common form of social engineering they use is spear phishing to target specific individuals. to upload malware to their system. They make use of disruptions, that's using DDoS to disable networks, and then wipers. This is so that way they can hide their footprints and kind of protect themselves. So it's harder to tell what they did and how they did it. There are defenses against the Lazarus group. The primary one is to ensure latest security updates are installed. That's very important. You want to make sure the network is segmented, so if they do attack part of the network, they don't attack the whole network. It is important to use, uh, at the very least, two-factor authentication, but multi-factor authentication is much more recommended, much higher recommended. And it's important to use comprehensive logs. So that way, if they were to attack, you know what they do. And you could potentially see the moments right before an attack to stop it. So these are the sources I used. Um, and next, we're going to be getting into the demonstration. So we're going to be demonstrating a social engineering attack. We're mainly going to use the tool GoFish. But along with GoFish, we're also going to use another software called Local Tunnel. And this allows me to essentially turn my computer into a public domain briefly. Um, you'll see why later. And then we're also going to make use of temp mail. Temp mail is just a temporary email that we're going to use to send our phishing attack to. And all right, let's get to it. So this is the dashboard in GoFish. Uh, this is for reference, GoFish is a tool that is used for social engineering attacks, primarily by cybersecurity professionals, so they can understand how these attacks work and potentially defend against them. And we're just going to go through and make a full campaign ourselves. So the first thing we need to do is we need to go to email templates. We're going to need to make a new email template. This is like kind of what it's going to look like. So we're going to make an email template called LinkedIn, and we'll just call it email. And you can put in a sender, and you can put a subject, and then you can write the text or the HTML, whichever you want. But it's a lot easier to just hit this import email button. And then if you go to your email, for example, this one, um, let's go to show original. And right here, you'll get all the code for the email itself. All you're going to do is you're just going to hit copy clipboard, go back to this section. Uh, and you're just going to paste it into here. So then you hit import, and as you can see, it imported the email right here. So it looks the exact same as the other one. Um, so next, we're just going to hit save template. So that'll save the template right here, and you can see it right there, LinkedIn email. Next, we're going to go down to landing page, hit new page, and now you have to, this is essentially you just have to put where you're going to be directed to. In this case, we're going to go https://www.linkedin.com. And this is just going to direct you to LinkedIn. So this is a LinkedIn website. Looks just like it. And then you just hit save page. Oh, that specify name first. We'll just call it LinkedIn page. There. So then hit save page. And next we'll move on to sending profiles. Um, so we're going to call this test sender. Um, and this is who's going to be sending the email itself. I set up a temporary email right here, temporary Gmail that will be deleted later, right here. So you're going to put in the SMTP from and put in your email. And then under host, you need to input um, just essentially the port of it and the SMTP address. So all you're going to do is you're just going to, in this case, since we're using Gmail, we're going to use smtp.gmail.com. and then you put in colon and you put in the port number. For Gmail, it's 465. Next, you need to put in the username and the password. So the username is going to be the same, and this is for the email. So the username is the same as this, right? As the email you put in. And the password is going to be whatever your password is for the email. Gmail has it's kind of finicky, so it doesn't really like, um, it has a lot of security systems in place. So I have to use a temporary password to kind of bypass those security systems. All right, so now we're going to make a test email. So this is where you're going to use temp mail. All you have to do is search up temp mail and you'll open up a website. It gives you a temporary web email address. So this is my temporary email address. And we're going to copy that. We're just going to paste it into here and send an email. All right. As you can see, the email is sent. So we'll go back over here and we'll look. And as you can see right here, default email from GoFish. So this is the email we just sent, the test email we just sent. So now we know it works, which is awesome. So that means this is all done. So now we have a test sender profile. The second to last thing we have to do is we have to make a new user group. So for this, we're just going to call it the LinkedIn group for simplicity's sake. And now we need to add an email. So you're just going to add in the temporary email you just created right in here and just hit add and then save changes. If you want, you can add more group members if you want. In my case, I'm not going to. I just need the one. All right. So to make a campaign, we're going to title it LinkedIn campaign. Next, you select your email template, your landing page, and then your sending profile. And we're also going to select our, wait, no, change the group. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to change the group. Okay, that campaign, new campaign. So make a new campaign. You're just going to type in LinkedIn campaign or whatever you want to title it. In our case, we're going to just call it LinkedIn campaign. You select your email template, you select your landing page, and then you have to put in your URL. The URL you get, this is where we use local tunnel. And what you're going to do is you're going to type this in right here. I took the liberty and did it earlier. But you're going to type in LT space dash dash, then type in port, followed by another space, and then type in your port number. In our case, we're going to use 80 for HTTPS, and that'll return your URL. So this is our URL. You're just going to copy it and you're just going to paste it directly into this box. So then you select your sending profile in your group and you hit launch campaign. Launch. Okay, campaign is scheduled and we should be able to see it. So you can see it's working on it right now. We'll refresh and it can see it sent an email right here. So we're going to go to our temp email and we should see, there we go. So we saw that this is the email from the LinkedIn campaign now. Um, as you can see, it looks just like the LinkedIn one, perfectly just like the LinkedIn one. And if we were to click on anything here, this is the interesting part. Okay, let's click on another part. So as you can see, if you look right here, it has the URL that was used from what we just did. Um, since we used the local tunnel, this will not work because we use local tunnel. It won't let us access it. Um, but you can clearly see that it did work. It did access it, bring us to this same exact URL. You can see sad frogs, GRIN, sad frogs, GRIN. So it brought us to the same spot that we pointed to in here. Um, And that's pretty much it with Go Fish. It'll register when email open when the link is clicked. If you were to submit your data into there, it tracks that, and you'll be able to see the password they use and the username they use to log in. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciated it. Um, I thank you for watching. That's all from me. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you.